Welcome to Voices of the Hill, a public affairs podcast produced by the communication program at Culver-Stockton College in Canton, Missouri. I'm Dustin Pruitt, and each episode we sit down with members of the Wildcat community, students, professors, administrators, staff, alumni, trustees, and friends of the college to share their stories, experiences, and insights from the Hill and beyond. Today we're joined by Dr. Lauren Schellenberger, president of Culver-Stockton College. We'll explore her path from the biology classroom to college leadership, discuss her vision for CSC, and hear her insights on leadership and the future of higher education. Dr. Schellenberger, thanks for being here. Welcome to Voices of the Hill. I appreciate your willingness to share your time and thoughts.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, to get us started, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Dr. Lauren Schellenberger?
Well, I am originally from Ashland, Illinois, which is in west central Illinois, and grew up there and went to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign and to Purdue University. And when I was in Indiana, I met my husband, and we got married. We have two kids, ages 13 and 17. And in 2008, we moved to Canton, Missouri, where we lived ever since. I took a job here as an assistant professor of biology, doing exactly what I thought I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And Culver-Stockton has been our home and has been a place where I've had lots of opportunities and really been happy to be here the last 18 years.
Thank you for that. And I would like to know what originally drew you to apply for the position of president of Culver-Stockton College.
Well, I had had the opportunity to move into a couple of different administrative roles during my time at Culver that I never really expected. But just when I was really thinking about maybe I'm ready to do something a little bit different, there was an opportunity that opened up at the college. And sort of the same thing happened with the presidency. I had been the vice president for academic affairs and provost at the time. And when I found out there was going to be an opening for the presidency, it just felt like the right time to apply.
Cool. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Now I'd like to ask a few questions about your role as president of Culver-Stockton College. Who or what originally inspired you to pursue a career in higher education?
Well, when I was at Purdue University and I was a graduate student, one of the things that I did then, I was working in a lab, and that was part of what I needed to do to pay for my tuition. But I also needed to teach a class, and that happened to be a botany class, actually. And so that was kind of an obligation for graduate students at the time. But when I was teaching that class, I realized that I really loved teaching. It wasn't something that I thought that I would go into. I really thought I was more interested in research. But when I started teaching the class, I just kind of fell in love with it, and it really helped shape what my future plans were, because I really had to then reorient myself to think about, well, what do I need to do in order to make myself more attractive as a candidate for a teaching position at a college? And not only did I really enjoy teaching, I enjoyed teaching college students. And so then I completely revamped my plans, and I'd say that's what drew me into higher ed, was the teaching aspect of it. And working with college students is a lot of fun. You get to see every day people who are learning who they are, what their talents are, what they want to do when they graduate, and it's very rewarding day to day and year to year, really, to see students come in as freshmen, leave as seniors, and to watch the transformation that takes place.
Thank you. When you're facing big decisions, who do you turn to for advice or perspective?
Well, we have an excellent leadership team here at Culver-Stockton, and so all of what we call the senior leadership group, the people who report directly to the president, we meet once a week and we talk about big decisions. As needed, we meet and talk about them even more often than once a week. And so I lean heavily on the folks who report to me, who are experts in their area and oversee different parts of the college. And I think we have a great dynamic in our group, and everyone understands that we're here for the student experience and to do what's right for the institution. And so, first and foremost, when it comes to making decisions about the college, I work first and foremost with our senior leadership group. I also reach out to trustees. We have a wonderful board of trustees that has expertise in all kinds of different areas and are deeply committed to the college. And so I don't hesitate to call on select trustees or get groups and committees together to help weigh in when we have decisions we need to make as well.
Okay. Leading into that, who would you say your role models have been, either inside or outside of academia?
Great question. I had an undergraduate advisor when I was pursuing my bachelor's degree who was excellent, and she was very, very impactful. And that was at the University of Illinois. So that's probably one of my first professional role models. My parents, of course, are role models as well. I hope they are for many people. Mine certainly are. And here at Culver, I was actually really fortunate to get a chance to work with Kelly Thompson when she was the president. So President Emerita Kelly Thompson continues to be a role model and was someone that I worked with very closely when I first became the Vice President for Academic Affairs. And I continue to draw upon her wisdom and think about what Kelly would have done and did do in situations. And so I see her as a role model as well.
Yeah, having a role model is very important, a mentor. And leading on to that, as president of CSC, what would you identify as your top priorities?
The top priority is really to future-proof the institution in a time of significant change for higher ed and for the world in general. And so, thinking about the ways that a small college in a rural setting remains relevant, remains innovative, and is a destination for students who are seeking a particular kind of higher ed experience, that's really what I'm aiming for every day. So, just for an example, just this morning we convened a task force on AI, not just how AI is getting used in the classroom, but really about how the college can use AI to make sure that we're leveraging the resources that we have as efficiently as possible, and we're continuing to move forward as the world around us does as well.
Yeah, AI is definitely a thing that's not going away, so I guess we need to embrace it and see how we can teach our students how to use that and for their future jobs. I'm sure that's going to be something they're going to come upon pretty soon here when they graduate. So when students do graduate or alumni reach out with success stories, how does that shape your outlook of the work we're doing here at CSC?
That's what makes it most rewarding. I mean, seeing those graduate outcomes, whether it's a year down the road, whether it's 50 years down the road, and hearing the stories of our alumni about what happened at Culver-Stockton College, who they interacted with, what kinds of activities that they participated in, the challenges they faced, all of those things that helped shape them shape them to become who they are, and to meet the challenges that they would in their jobs and their personal lives, etc. That just is what keeps it sort of front and center as we consider, why are we doing what we do? This is why we do what we do. Because we know that when students come to Culver, we're going to help them be the best version of themselves that they can be. And we're creating opportunities here that allow students to just flourish. And so to get to see the fruits of our labors and to hear about the things that alumni recall and how influential that those things were from their time at Culver, that's really the carrot at the end of the stick that keeps us moving, I think.
I really appreciate you sharing that. I'd like to ask a few questions now about our CSC community and the future. In your view, what makes Culver-Stockton College stand out amongst other colleges in our region?
Well, we have an incredibly innovative calendar and curriculum, that 12+3 calendar. There's only one other college in the country that has that. And, for us, that allows us to dive into experiential learning, particularly in a 3-week session at the end of each semester, in a way that gets students really immersed in what they're learning, gets them exposed to, research and creative, all kinds of creative activities, simulations, internships, travel study, leadership opportunities. All of these things are built into the curriculum and the calendar in a way that makes it just sort of a natural part of being a Culver-Stockton student, is that you're going to experience something very authentic that will prepare you for when you graduate. So I think the 12+3 calendar is a huge part of being different. Another thing is our engagement in our rural community in economic development, and really being an important part of the fabric of living in a rural community. So our tri-state development work is actually incredibly innovative. We've been both nationally and internationally recognized for that, which is, something we're very proud of as a small school here in Northeast Missouri, to be able to say we've had an international presence and we're up there presenting with enormous universities, talking about the impact that a college can have on its economic development in the region. I think that's a really interesting thing. We've got students who are doing internships in those areas and have now gone on to get full-time jobs after they've graduated. And so, we're really contributing to the economic engine of the region.
I definitely agree with that. In your view, what makes Culver-Stockton, what's one initiative of Culver-Stockton or a project on campus that you're most excited about right now?
One of the things that I'm most excited about right now is actually right where we are right now, Innovation Alley. So over the summer and this fall, all the work that's been done here. I mean, the podcasting studio alone is great, and I'm thrilled to be here seeing it in use, knowing that the planning and the work that went into it. The Maker Lab, the Media Lab, the Production Lab, the turning the Wildcat Warehouse into a student-run business. This is really exciting, and I think it provides all kinds of opportunities for students from all different majors to really get engaged in the kind of activity that takes them out of the classroom and helps put theory into practice, makes it real for them, and gives them a lot of really interesting things to talk about. They go on a job interview, they're going on an internship interview. They're able to talk about the things that they've done as college students that differentiate them from a number of students at other institutions.
I appreciate that. You addressed this in the previous answer, but I would like to see also, where do you see the greatest potential for growth or innovation at the college, where that may be online learning or Innovation Alley, some other things on your mind?
I think we have tremendous potential for additional growth in graduate and online programs. We've already seen a lot of growth in those areas, and that's really an important part for a small college like us that serves our region, is to be able to provide opportunities for workforce development that go beyond undergraduate degrees. And so, as we've added to our list of graduate offerings that we have, we've also been looking at shorter term credentials, micro credentials, different pathways for degree completion for people who have some college but no degree. And so looking at how can we serve the people, not just in our backyard, but nationally and internationally as well, and providing them with opportunities to move ahead and to create new opportunities for themselves in their own jobs or in new jobs. So, a lot of opportunity is there in graduate and online, and I think that's an important part of what we're doing. But that doesn't mean that we forget about opportunities that exist within the undergraduate curriculum, the traditional undergraduate curriculum as well. So things like Innovation Alley, things like the creation of a new 3-year program for a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing with Hannibal Regional Healthcare System, things like that are addressing important needs in the workforce. We can be there as a partner and as a contributor to our local and regional economy. And so paying attention, to new program development, like I mentioned, nursing. For example, we just added the AI and business analytics portion of the curriculum at the master's level. And so, we're really paying attention to what are the trends, what are employers looking for, how can we address it? And so as long as we continue to pay attention to that and make sure that, we've got the expertise and that we're really, really being entrepreneurial in our own thinking about what kinds of curricula that we can offer, we're just going to continue to grow. And it doesn't really matter whether it's at the undergraduate level, traditional or online, or graduate level, just staying on the forefront of what's next is what's going to get us there.
It sounds like we have an exciting future here at CSC with all these opportunities, and I'm glad to be a part of the podcasting space. It's really exciting to have technologies and be able to get the students to be able to produce some things and enter them into some creative projects. That's right down my alley. What with the options that future students have today, why do you believe small colleges like ours continue to play an important role?
I think at a small college, students really get a chance to develop relationships with each other and with the faculty and staff that provide them the soft skills that are going to not just get them their first job, but keep that job and keep them moving up the ladder. And so, when we think about the opportunities to get involved, to be active on campus, to be engaged, they're just tremendous at a small college. And people know who you are. They know students by name. They know where they're from. They know what's going on in their lives, and that provides students, I think, with a sense of belonging that allows them to feel free to explore interests and get engaged in things maybe they wouldn't otherwise get engaged in. Ultimately, we're trying to develop a more well-rounded citizen, a well-rounded person to go out there and be a significant contributor to society. And so I think small colleges are sort of that incubator where students can become the best possible version of themselves, have kind of a safe place also to fail sometimes, and know that there's someone there who's going to get them right back on track.
No, I definitely agree. Like, they sometimes have to fail to improve, and that's just part of being a student. And I myself fail quite often and learn from my mistakes, but it's very important to learn and continue to grow, like you're talking about. Broadly speaking, what current challenges are colleges and universities facing, especially smaller institutions like ours?
So, I think broadly speaking, in higher ed, we're facing the larger societal question that so many people are asking is college worth it? So, the concern among members of the public who might occasionally answer surveys and things like that about, is a college degree worth it, seems to indicate that there are a lot of people out there who think that college may not have the return on investment that it should. A lot of data, in fact, most of what I've read indicates that no, the value of a college degree is still tremendous, and you can expect that anyone who earns a college degree over the course of their lifetime is much more likely to out-earn someone who didn't, perhaps by as much as $1 million or more. And so, but that perception that a 4-year college degree doesn't have the value that it used to, that's a major challenge for higher eds. It's a challenge for us to be able to prove that no, we do have value and it's immediate for students. It's not just in the type of job that they get and the salary they make when they graduate. It's also in their ability to lead a richer life that contributes to society in positive ways.
I definitely agree. I would definitely encourage folks to go to school and hone their craft and maybe get a master's degree if that's what they want to do. But college is definitely an important part of the workforce, I would think. I would know that even in my field, we need a college degree to get the entry-level job. Where would you like to see Culver-Stockton College 10 years from now?
10 years from now, I'd like for us to be very clearly regionally recognized and also known on a national stage for the work that we're doing, particularly in the traditional undergraduate curriculum. I think a lot of that will come from recognizing that our curriculum is very innovative, and so that the concept that Culver is some kind of hidden gem or best kept secret, we hear that sometimes. I want us to move beyond that. So 10 years from now, I don't want to be a best kept secret. I want everybody to know exactly what we're doing here and what its value is. And so I don't think that that's an unreasonable or unattainable goal either. I think we're right there.
Yeah, I would agree. And expanding upon that, why should future students feel excited about coming to CSC?
I think it's all about opportunity. CSC is a place where the opportunity is limitless. We are very well known and well regarded for helping students go from wherever they're at to wherever they want to be. So you can start here, you can go anywhere. Social mobility is a big part of what we do. It's an important part of the role we play in our region. And so for students, I think you can also boil that down to what are the day-to-day things you can get involved in here. This is a place where, if there isn't a club or an organization that addresses what you're interested in, it is easy to start one. And we will encourage you to do that. And so we encourage students to be entrepreneurial and to think as individuals about what their own possibilities are, and then we're going to provide them with the tools to maximize that potential. So, the innovative curriculum, the opportunities, the environment, the people, the relationships that they build. I think that's what there is to be excited about.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Before we finish our podcast, I'd like to end with a few more personal questions. What's one thing people might be surprised to learn about you?
Boy, that's a great question. I always say one of my fun facts that I used to be kind of embarrassed about when I was much younger, but now I think it's kind of funny, is that I used to raise rabbits as livestock and 4-H, and I was very interested when I was about 11 years old and in showing rabbits at fairs, and I once was the Illinois Rabbit Princess, and
awesome.
had to answer like a questions about rabbits and do judging. And now I think back, it's kind of fun to think about. And so I bet a lot of people probably would be surprised to learn that I'm a former Illinois Rabbit Princess.
I am surprised, and thank you for sharing that. What legacy do you hope to leave when people look back on your presidency?
I hope that my legacy is one that people remember me as someone who was always pushing us to do something more innovative, better, not happy with where we are and what we've done so far, but not complacent, and always pushing us to do something more and better and stay at the forefront so that we stay relevant and we continue to progress. We've been here for almost 175 years. We're going to come up on the 175th anniversary here in about 3 years. And, to be here for another 175, we're just going to have to continue that innovation that started when we were founded as a college founded to be co-ed, the first one west of the Mississippi River. I mean, that was innovation in 1853. And we continue that legacy of innovation. I want to be known as someone who kept that at every faculty and staff and student and alumni members, forefront of their minds is how can we be innovative?
Thanks for those remarks. President Schellenberger, your insights are deeply appreciated, and I want to ask this on behalf of the students about to enter the job market. If you could give one piece of advice to today's students, what would it be?
Step out of your comfort zone. Put yourself in uncomfortable positions deliberately so that you can become more resilient, and so that you can develop the kinds of skills and abilities that allow you to function in environments where you're not completely comfortable. And so kind of going back to one of your earlier questions, I think this is a safe place to do that. And so, if you are a student here and, you are interested in starting a club or joining an existing organization or taking a class that's outside of your major, this is a great place to do that. And doing those kinds of things, even though they might not initially seem like the most comfortable thing to do, that's what helps you grow as a person and will prepare you for the wide variety of experiences that you're going to have once you have a job. But it's also going to give you something really interesting to talk about with employers on interviews. And so just stepping out of your comfort zone, it's incredibly important.
Maybe they could have their own podcast with our
Maybe they could.
facility.
Yeah, I think
They're
that's a great idea.
More than welcome to use it. contact me.
And it doesn't matter if you've never done podcasting before. This is the kind of place where a student could reach out to you and say, hey, I've never done podcasting before, but I'm kind of intrigued. Could I learn? And, instead of brushing them off and saying, sorry, kid, you're not in my department, this is the kind of place where a faculty member like you would say, absolutely, when do you want to meet?
Exactly. And I would definitely embrace them and show them how to get it up and going. Before we finish recording, this is the last question of the podcast. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I would just like to add that every day on our campus is one where I count my blessings for the people that I work with, the students that we have the opportunity to work with and to see graduate here, and the campus environment in general. I mean, it's a wonderful place to be. I couldn't be happier to have spent, so much of my career here, and I'm really, really excited to see where we go. And I'm thankful that you invited me. This was fun. And one of the things I like to do most is talk about the college. So this was very easy. It'd probably be one of the high points of my day. So thank you very much.
Right. Awesome. President Schellenberger, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you for sharing your voice with us on Voices of the Hill. I wish you a joyful holiday season, and I look forward to your continued leadership in the new year.
Well, thank you.
This has been Voices of the Hill, a podcast produced by the communication program at Culver-Stockton College in Canton, Missouri. To hear more conversations like this, follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcast. I'm Dustin Pruitt, an assistant professor of communication here at CSC. Thanks for listening, and go Wildcats.